Mehdi, we can have the slide for the sponsor and association. Mehdi, can we have the slide?
The slide is there on the screen.
Oh, I'm not able to see it. Oh, I'll just rejoin. Okay, yeah, now I can see it. Okay. Good afternoon to everyone present here, and welcome to our last speaker session of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2022, Marketing Beyond Advertising. Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2022, presented by HDFC Bank, powered by Bright Outdoor Media Private Limited, co-sponsored by Baggett, in association with Plum Body Loving, trading partner Havenspire, home decor partner Whipple Homes, news and media partner The Education Tree. Next slide. In association with Digital India, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, National E-Governments Division, Make in India, Skill India, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, Startup India, AWS Activate, Enactus, Mumbai Angels Network, Inflection Point Ventures, TIE Mumbai, and Vazhani Foundation. Now I'd like to introduce our IIC faculty, Ms. Reshma Jaisinghani, to introduce the speaker for today.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, all the students. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce the speaker for the day. Let me start the introduction of sir in a different manner. So, Peshwa sir is a Mumbaiker and loves to travel the globe with his family. He is an alumni of IIM Calcutta and IIT Kharagpur. Sir has worked across the Indian subcontinent, Asia, and other emerging markets. He encourages creative thinking and a data-driven approach to solve any business problem. His vision is to create technology-driven products, services, and platforms across industries. He is a firm believer that organizations should integrate customer experiences with digital technology. He is a mentor and he loves mentoring and also learning from young professionals. He has founded Growth Shift with a mission to scale up his passion in mentoring young India and impact as many lives as he can. He is actively associated with the education sector and works to impart his knowledge and time to several management institutes and universities. That's one of the reasons that Sir is also the part of our e-cell and is an advisory member in our skill hub. Sir was the first CEO of IIT Bombay Research and Innovation Park, Aspire. He has also founded his own entrepreneurial ventures strategy firm, Leven Healthcare. Leven Healthcare is a West India first dialysis chain. He is also on the board of companies like Platinumone.in. Sir is an accomplished senior management professional and business leader with over 30 years of business experience. He has worked with some of the world's most respected companies and brands across FMCG, CPG, retail, telecom, technology, e-commerce, hospitality, and education domains. He has been instrumental in setting up and building some of India's largest brands and businesses at Procter & Gamble, Reckitt, Dabur, Reliance Retail, including Reliance Digital, Sterling Holidays, and also technology startups like Housing.com. Presently, Sir is the president at Group Strategy at Brightcom Group and director on the board. On behalf of Jai Hind College Entrepreneurship Cell and Skill Hub, Sir, we welcome you and we are looking for a great session with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So, Ashna, should we start?
Yes, sir. So you'll be sharing the slides?
Yeah, I'll share the slides. So first, thank you, Reshma ma'am, for such kind words. Okay, I've been always fairly close to Jai Hind, and we have tried to do a lot of things, and unfortunately today is a little bit of thing. I'm at the hospital, so you have to kind of sometimes, if you don't have good connectivity, please let me know. So thank you everyone for inviting me. Thank you, Reshma ma'am, for those kind words. I'll, without wasting time, quickly get into the actual presentation. Uh, so one of the reasons why I think this topic is important, I'll just share my slide. So, so And I'm a firm believer of entrepreneurship and startups. And I think Jai Hind as an ecosystem is trying to do a lot of things to promote really startup and entrepreneurship. I think it might be in one of the few non-technical, non-engineering colleges which is actually trying to drive the startup ecosystem. So I'm very happy for that and happy to be part of that journey. So one
So we are not able to hear you if you're saying something.
Okay. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay, so my mistake, sorry, whatever I spoke, I think you couldn't hear. So let me little bit repeat, I am extremely happy and really privileged for those kind words which Miss Reshma ma'am's told about me. I always believe in sharing a little bit of my experience I have of the last 30 years. And I have always been close to Jai Hind because I think Jai Hind is one of the colleges and institutions which is really trying to drive startup and entrepreneurship, which is very much required in India. Possibly one of the few non-technical, non-engineering colleges which is doing that in Mumbai. So, and I'm very happy to be part of the journey, at least for the last, I think, 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah, so thanks to the faculty, thanks to everyone, thanks to the principal, thanks to Rakhi ma'am and all the faculty. And one of the things which I've noticed in the startup ecosystem is that usually the founders have great product ideas. But the question is, how do you really get those ideas to the market, to the consumers? That's where oftentimes the trick lies, whether it is a B2B product service or a B2C product service. And that's where I think a lot of inputs are required to really take it and what we call go to market. And one of the things I have noticed is that people think that marketing is equal to advertising. Especially a lot of undergrad people who have really not gone through the construct of marketing think that. And one of the reasons I'm wanting to do this program is really to kind of demolish that myth that marketing is uh, a bit beyond advertising. At one point of time, people thought marketing is equal to advertising. That's not true. So I have put down there the various things I do. My day job is with a large global company called Brightcom Group. We are essentially into what is called ad tech or marketing tech. That's what we are in. It's a large global group. Um, I have also co-founded a company called Growth Shift, which is essentially into executive mentoring, and also it helps give direction and career guidance to young people and young professionals. What we say is that it's like a lot of young professionals are like uncut diamonds, and we are like the diamond cutters of Surat. Actually we cut the diamond and it goes back to Europe for selling. So that's what we really do in Growth Shift. And the also I have a company called Think as Consumer, which is essentially a marketing strategy firm that has been in existence for 10 years. So this is really what I do. So um, I'm an entrepreneur. I work. I have been a startup mentor, and I'm still that. And I'm also looking for a good quality early stage angel investment in startups. That's also what I'm looking at. And these are the various brands and companies which I have been associated with, sometimes directly, sometimes I've been working there as the CXO, sometimes as a consultant, and there will be quite a few more, but I thought I'll let you have a glance of this. So though largely I have worked in the consumer space, I have experience in consumer e-commerce, startups, tech companies, uh, a little bit of the government organizations also, hospitality, education. So that's what my experience is, and that's what I'll try to share with you. So the first thing I wanted to tell, especially the young students and professionals, I think there are around 377 I can see people, and a lot of them will be young students, some of them professionals. So marketing clearly is not equal to advertising. That's the first thing I wanted to remove from your head. Advertising has a lot of communication element. It sometimes has imagery of a lot of glamour, but marketing is a lot of hard work. Yeah, there is of course glamour, but the glamour is more out of what you can do for your company. Hmm. So that's the first thing. And if I define marketing in a very simple way, marketing is essentially a combination of all of these. So sales is very much part of marketing in India. If you really have to go at the senior level, you must have a little bit of sales experience. And today sales is both e-commerce, digital, offline, trade, everything. 30-40 years ago, it was only like today it is combination of all. Also distribution means actually, so with your permission, I'll do one thing. I'll put the video off from my side. Yeah, because otherwise the internet seems to be a little unstable. um, Distribution is very important. We are a large company, so it's not just selling, but can you really distribute the product to the right place? Product and portfolio management, brand management. So there's a slight difference between product management and brand management. You have to remember. Uh, More as you move in industrial and in engineering products, product management becomes important. As you move towards the consumer side, brand management gets important because it's essentially the brand, which is a more big one. Mm. The next one is very key, which is today it's not just about brand management, but do you understand and can you manage the digital brand? That's very important, the digital part of the brand. Next one is called public relations, PR, corpcom, or corporate reputation management. So this can be a corporate reputation or even a brand reputation management. Okay, so this is again one part of marketing. Next one, very important, is employer brand. So it is just not it's just not the brands which the company sells, but as an employer, how strong is the brand? People, do they want to join the brand? That's important. And all of you must have heard that some of the good quality companies which have very strong brands also are a strong employer brand. And the last one I've put in here is called growth strategy and category creation, which means that the role of marketing is always to ensure how do you grow the company, grow the business, grow the brand. So that is very important. In fact, there's a new term which has come in called chief growth officer, which means it's no longer just the chief marketing officer. The chief marketing officer is also the chief growth officer. And if you are in a kind of cutting edge company, you will not only grow, but you will actually possibly create new categories and categories and products, actually new concepts completely. That's called category creation. So this is essentially what marketing entails. I thought our young students must know that. So it's fairly interesting arena. It is just not communication and advertising. It has a lot. And therefore, we always say that marketing is actually an art and a science. So there's a lot of art in it and there's a lot of science in it also. Um, then I'll talk a little bit of global brands. Um, you know, and we all see that there are a large number of today global brands. They are actually omnipresent in India or any part of the world you go to. Okay, these are, so what are really global brands? What makes a brand global? That's a key question. Just because it is sold in many countries, does it become global? Really, no. Um, a brand needs to have a distinct promise, a set of values, personality, which gets translated into a symbol and idea. So that's very important. Sometimes brands might be not a legacy brand. One of the brands, let's say, give an example like a Uber. It's not a legacy brand, but it's a very global brand. It's very clear what the promise is. Incidentally, Uber may not be owning a single car or automobile in the world, but it's still the largest, kind of locomotion company in some way. Yeah. Mm, these are a little bit more details of, if you are getting into marketing, what should be your approach. And this is really for people who are wanting to become practitioners in marketing. uh, you have to have an integrated approach. I hope I just wanted to say that I'm there. Yeah. I've just put the video off because of some connectivity issues. Yeah. um, so you have to have the right people, right strategy, and ability to deploy the right strategy with your customers. So this is very important. uh, I am a very strong votary of getting the strategy right. Strategy is nothing but getting the planning right. So I'm a very strong votary of that. And these are some of the various elements of business strategy and operations. Strategy of business development, how do you measure business performance measurement, actually the business operation running, brand valuation, and of course market strategy development. So all these actually fall under what is called the domain of marketing. And if we look at at the brand level, what really a brand management comprises of, and we'll get into a little bit of details, but essentially it is about brand strategy, brand identity, brand architecture. How are you going to communicate? Is it only advertising, or is it much more? Today digital has a big role. um, Website, apps, and the whole scenario of the new digital, AR, VR, all of them. So all this really comes under brand development. The strategy has to be driven by possibly the marketing person. And this is a term many of you would be hearing in the modern marketing context, which is digital transformation of companies. So some of the legacy brands and legacy companies need to do what is called digital transformation of their businesses. And these are really the elements of digital transformation. Typically, this is led by the CMO, chief marketing officer, chief executive officer, sometimes the chief information officer, or sometimes even by the CEO and the chairman. So that's the importance of this, what is called digital transformation of companies. Uh, I hope all of you are able to kind of understand what digital transformation mean. It is not just digitization. It's actually using the whole new ecosystem of digital to take the company from X to Y. And really, sometimes the business model itself can get changed. That's very important. In the world, one of the case studies in marketing or in digital transformation, or the really business transformation of a company who has done, is a company called Netflix. They have over a long time, not a very short period, and through a lot of hard work, have actually transformed their business model. So digital transformation is much beyond just using a certain set of software and hardware and getting your business more efficient. It can actually involve complete transformation of your business. uh, this is one thing which usually is not understood by some of the people in organizations, transactional people. But I think that is very important, which is whatever you might want to do, ultimately the growth of a company is driven by culture, people, processes, and capability. And all these are required together with your marketing plan and brand plan. That's very important. Yeah. And the management and the promoters and the owners must drive towards a certain kind of culture, whatever it might be. Some people, like we said, some are brand centric cultures, some are not. but there has to be a certain culture which you need to drive. And in a brand centric culture, in a growth centric culture, the company will be growth oriented. So that's very important. So these are some of the, for a good company, these are some of the things which one can do. Okay. These are, of course, business performance measurement are very important thing. See, marketing, modern marketing is very important today. Um, it's not fluff. Modern marketing is very much which is driven by anything which can be measured can only you can steer. So that's very important. So we are, modern marketers know and believe that if it cannot be measured, you can't do much about it. And it's not just the digital measurement. Today, everything, whether it is a consumer satisfaction scores, consumer experience scores, NPS, as we call net promoter scores, all these can today be measured. Engagement scores can be measured. So that's a very important one, that businesses, if you want to be a good marketing person, you have to make it measurable, whatever you are doing. And there's a concept called lead and lag factors. And this is a, good quality marketers have a rigorous research based approach. So that's what I'm trying to say on all kinds of research. Of course, last 30 years I have gone through a lot of research. Some companies are a little bit more research oriented, some are less, but essentially this is a good tool to help you not make mistakes, help you get insights from the data. And really lots have happened, which is data analytics, business analytics, a lot of things can be done. This I'm not getting into too much. So I told you about chief strategy, chief marketing officer, chief growth officer, chief sales officer. So this is really combination of what, if you make all the business and marketing, role in the modern world. So it's not just communication and advertising. That's the point I wanted to say. Okay, I'm getting into a little bit more of details of what really a good quality marketing team or a marketing, a chief marketing officer or the CEO would actually do. I'm getting into a little bit more of details. And the whole idea of giving you details is that it should inspire you to really, study, learn a little bit. And today you can actually, there's a lot of learning of marketing which can happen on the job. It's not just theoretical construct. That's the fun of marketing. A lot of on the job you can do. Getting associated with good quality people and mentors and companies is very important, because it's marketing is a little bit like over, with experience you really do things very similar to a surgery profession. Yeah. So where you get to know from your mentors and senior surgeons. Yeah. So the first thing is called brand planning. Okay, so you must have a plan of where you want to take the brand, and there are clear KPIs defined. So that's the first one. Second one is called brand positioning. Okay, so brand positioning in simple word means you may have a same product or a service, but these product and service might get positioned differently in the consumer's mind. That's very important. And for that, you need to do different kind of construct. Huh. So, and it's fairly simple. I think everyone today understands positioning. Uh, two companies, how a Uber and a Ola is positioned slightly differently. They are more or less giving the same product, but the positioning is slightly different. Similarly, how does one soap gets positioned with another soap? So a Dettol soap versus a Lux, different positioning. Yeah. So for product, services, for everything, this is fairly. And for the brand positioning process, this is what the marketing team and the marketing CMO has to go through. So these are some of the simple things, identifying the competitors evaluation, determining the competitor's position, making the position decision, and monitoring the position. So there is something called a perceptual map of your market or category. So each of the marketing people need to create that perceptual map and see where you fall, where the brand or the product falls. This is brand architecture. Uh, Again, this has a lot of things: physical attributes, emotional attributes, what is the personality of the brand, what is the brand DNA, what can the brand do and not do, And is the brand architecture similar across the world, or does it differ a little bit across countries? So it is exactly like you have architectural plan for buildings. It is something similar to that. Only thing is that the brand is a living organism. So actually the brand architecture may change over time. It can change over time. This is very important, especially in brands which are multi-brand, with a corporate brand, with an individual brand. So for example, brand architecture of a company like Maruti Suzuki is very important, because you have a worldwide Suzuki, you have a India Maruti Suzuki. Then you have individual cars. So you have a Vitara and you have a Vitara Brezza, and you have a Swift and you have a Swift Desire. So all this is called brand architecturing. How actually all of these different brands and products will fit in, so that there is some understanding and logic, and more importantly, there is some consistency. That's very important. Uh, this many of you know, because to many of you, this is really the brand. That's how you define the brand. In my mind, brand is a concept in the consumer's mind. But for many of all of you or the customers, brand is actually an identity. And often cases, it's a visual identity. It's a logo. That's what it is. The next one, which is very important, I think, is if you really need to be in marketing and create brand, you must understand the concept of promotion and campaign planning. What is promotion and what is really the campaign? What do you want to use? Is pricing very important? Is consumer promotion important? Is trade promotion important? So all that is very important. So and if you get into details, you have to also plan the distribution channels. This is only one part I have given, which is the offline distribution channel. Exactly the same thing has to be done even for a online distribution channel, e-commerce. And one of the things on e-commerce, let me tell you, even if a nascent and a small brand is launched, or a fledgling brand is launched, today, courtesy e-commerce, it can go anywhere in the country. So you have to plan the distribution channel for that, because the customers have the ability of ordering it from anywhere. They can order it from Andaman and Nicobar. They can order it from Northeast, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat. So they have that ability of the front side of demand side. But if you don't get your supply side and the distribution done, then there'll be huge amount of customer dissonance, as we call, dissatisfaction. So that's again very important. So planning of the distribution channel. Sometimes products and companies take a decision that I'll only operate in a certain geography. That's also possible. So in fact, I always give an advice that size of India is so large that you don't need to be present everywhere. Maharashtra itself is 300,000 square kilometers. One state of Uttar Pradesh itself has around 200, 250 million people, which is equal to some many countries in other parts of the world. Yeah. So the next one is merchandising planning, which means that really what are you selling? How will you sell that? How do you put it? This is very important for retailers. This is very important for apparel sales, people who are into fashion and apparel category, and a little bit of lifestyle category. But today it is becoming important for everyone. Right product, right location, where do you do it, where do you put it, who are the people who are selling the product in the retailer. If you have a premium brand or a premium product, you cannot get it sold by non-premium salespeople. It has to be premium salespeople. So that again becomes very important. I think this is understood that you need to build a good market intelligence system. So whether it is really through analytics or just our informal system. And this is what actually, when you delve into the real marketing role, these are some of the things you have to do. This is called a marketing plan mix. What is the objective, what target market structure, what is competition doing, what are the issues, what is the position, what is the product portfolio. And the classic what we call the Boston matrix, BCG matrix. That is all your various products or SKUs or portfolio. Where are they? I hope all of you are aware of the BCG matrix, 2x2. Okay, so I think this is my last slide, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I'm also telling everyone that if you are really practitioners, and especially if there are any startups who are wanting a certain kind of guidance, you can always reach out to me via email, and hopefully if I have time, I'm happy to kind of help. Okay, so nothing else from my side. I'm happy to take some questions. Yeah, I hope in terms of time, I have been on time. So I'll now stop sharing. I have a little bit of time for questions, I think.
Okay, I can unmute now. Thank you, sir, for the very insightful session. I'm sure everyone had a great learning to take back. If there are any questions, everyone, you can put it in the chat box. So I had a question myself. Okay, before I ask the question, Aryan Kastia, do you have a question? Your hand is raised. I have asked you to unmute. Okay, I think I don't think that person has a question. So I had a question myself, that what is the importance of color while marketing or advertising your product?
Yeah, I mean, this is really too deep. So if you look at it, any brand is like a living organism. Yeah. So color, sound, looks, everything makes a difference. How you speak, what you communicate. So like the way it happens for human beings. Yeah. So color has a role. And the significance of color might be different in different parts of the world.
So you're lagging.
Are you with me?
So you're lagging out.
Okay. So maybe did you hear what I said? Could you hear?
So you're frozen actually. I didn't understand what you said.
Okay. Can you hear me now properly?
Yes.
Okay. So what I said was very simple. Not only color, a brand or a product is essentially like a human being or an organism or an animal. So color, sound, sight, looks, everything has a role in the brand and how we are going to market. Yeah. Exactly like in the case of a human being or in the case of an animal or any others. Yeah. Now, the only thing you have to remember is that color is a very culture sensitive thing. What it means is red color stands for something in India, but red color stands for not necessarily the same thing in US. Similarly, black might have a significance in Europe and black has a different significance in India. So it's a big one, So there's a deep study of color. In fact, I have one of my friends who's a professor at NIFT Chennai. He does work which is only related to color and how color has an important thing in marketing or brand or design. He does that. Okay, so good question.
Thank you, sir. So there are more questions in the chat. If you ask me on direct message, does culture impact on how we present a brand?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Does culture impact on how we represent or present a brand?
Absolutely, of
specific
course,
brand.
very culturally significant. For example, in India, if you have to present like the way in hospitality, look at that whole area of hospitality. In India, if there is someone coming to the hotel, you are supposed to do, if I may use the word, you are supposed to do namaste like this. So you are showing a certain kind of. On the other hand, you don't do this namaste necessarily anywhere in other parts of the world when you go to hotels in Western world. Okay, so it's very important. So how you communicate, how you market is very culture sensitive. What you say, what kind of things you can use. Yeah, not only with the different countries, it's even culture sensitive between parts of the country. North and south and east and west actually might be slightly different. So that's the fun of India. India is not a necessarily one homogeneous place. It's fairly heterogeneous. Of course, it is becoming more homogeneous as we are seeing over time.
All right,
Oh,
sir.
okay, what else?
So we have a few more questions. Pratham is asking, so how important is understanding human behavior and their psychology while marketing the product?
Yeah, actually quite important. I don't know whether I had this slide or did I not present it. I had one slide which is called purchase decision process. So before you study marketing, you actually have to study what is called consumer behavior. And one of the net takeaways out of consumer behavior study for actual practical marketing or pragmatic or practitioners marketing is that whatever category you are handling, okay, or whatever brand or product or service you are handling or trying to create in a startup, always make something called a purchase decision tree. That will really help you. So that's one of the tips, consulting tips I'm giving you. Purchase decision tree. That means suppose you have to buy a paint, if you have to buy a car, what is the process? And that process is actually driven by human behavior, psychology, sociology, the how that particular country or place operates. Some cases the car decision might be by whole family, some places it might be only one or two people. So put it down, the purchase decision tree on paper. Yeah.
Before we end the session, Arpit is asking, so how can you differentiate digital branding from digital marketing?
I really didn't understand the question, but where within digital marketing, there will be one part which is called creation of the brand. That's digital branding. So let me tell you the fundamental of marketing or even digital marketing, we tend to forget. Always you have to ask three questions before you take any action. Are you doing it for creating the brand or building the brand, communication? Are you doing it for engagement with your customers, or are you doing it for driving sales? So most of the activities will be related to one of them. So digital marketing is a combination of all three. Digital branding is only the first one. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
Great.
you're lagging. All right. So with this, I'd like to bring everyone to the end of the session. I will formally be giving you the vote of thanks on behalf of everyone that is attending the session, our faculty, our principal, and everyone from Jain College. It was a really insightful session, and everyone has taken back a good amount of points to learn from when they are branding or marketing their own products or services. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in. It's
I
always a
have
pleasure to have on
two
board.
more comments which I want to give. One is that if anyone needs anything, I've given my email address. You can actually reach out, especially if there are any startups. Yeah, want something.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two is we have a company called Growth Shift, which is essentially for mentoring young people. So that also, if someone thinks career needs a lift, we are there. Okay. So I thought, let me do that plug. Thank you, Ashna. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mehndi. And thank you, everyone. All the best.
Thank you so much for joining, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Best wishes.
Thank you. The feedback form will be floated in the chat box in a few minutes. Please fill in the feedback before you leave. And people attending from YouTube Live, the feedback form is put in the YouTube comments. Please don't forget to fill in the form. And thank you everyone for being patient. We will be having the next and final event of the Globally Summit at 4:30. That is the final round of the startup competition. Please do attend. I hope everyone has had a great time over the last 2 days. Thank you so much for being a good audience.